Last week we talked about how the Israelites, they were growing impatient with Moses. He had been on Mount Sinai for well over a month, and they didn't know when or even if he would return. So they had Aaron make them a golden calf. Well, when Moses came down from the mountain and saw what the Israelites had done, he threw the 10 Commandments down and they broke into pieces. Hello, I'm Kathy Bartow. When Moses came down from the top of Mount Sinai the second time, after spending another 40 days and 40 nights with God, the people were afraid. They were afraid because Moses' face was shining so brightly that they could not look at him. Listen to Exodus chapter 34, verses 29 to 33. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand as he came down the mountain, Moses did not know that the skin of his face shone because he'd been talking with God. Aaron and all the people of Israel saw Moses, and behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. But Moses called to them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation returned to him, and Moses talked with them. Afterward, all the people of Israel came near, and he commanded them all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And when Moses had finished speaking with them, he put a veil over his face. This was the last time that Moses ascended Mount Sinai to talk with God. He now communicated with God by setting up a tent far outside the camp. Listen to Exodus chapter 33, verses 7 to 11. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp, and he called it the tent of meeting. And everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise up, and each would stand at his tent door and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent, and the Lord would speak with Moses. And when all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance of the tent, all the people would rise up and worship, each at his tent door. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. God had told Moses his plan to live among his people. They were to build a tabernacle. This is where the Israelites would be worshiping God. It was to be built in such a manner that it could be easily moved with the people as they traveled in the desert for the next 40 years. God gave Moses exact instructions on how the tabernacle, an elaborate and portable tent, was to be made and what it was to contain. Exodus chapter 35, verses 4 through 18. Moses said to all the congregation of the people of Israel, "This is the thing that the Lord has commanded. Take from among you a contribution to the Lord. Whoever is of a generous heart, let him bring the Lord's contribution, gold, silver, and bronze, blue and purple scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen, goat's hair, tanned ram skins, and goat skins, acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil and for the fragrance incense, and onyx stones and stones for setting, for the ephod and for the breastpiece. Let every skillful craftsman among you come and make all that the Lord has commanded: the tabernacle, its tent and its covering, its hooks and its frames, its bars, its pillars and its bases, the ark with its poles, the mercy seat and the veil of the screen, the table with its poles and all its utensils, and the bread of the presence. The lampstand also for the light with its utensils and its lamps, and the oil for the light, and the altar of incense with its poles, and the anointing oil and the fragrant incense, and the screen for the door at the door of the tabernacle, the altar of burnt offering with its grating of bronze, its poles, and all its utensils, the basin and its stand. the hangings of the court, its pillars and its bases, and the screen for the gate of the court, the pegs of the tabernacle and the pegs of the court, and their cords, the finely worked garments for ministering in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron, the priest, and the garments of his sons for their service as priests. The tabernacle was an elaborate portable tent that served as the people's temple of the Lord while they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years until they could settle in the Promised Land. The tabernacle was custom designed by God himself, who gave precise instructions on its construction to Moses. There were 3 parts to the tabernacle. The most sacred place was called the Holy of Holies and measured 15 feet wide by 15 feet long. It was in the shape of a square. It housed the Ark of the Covenant that contained the stone tablets on which God had written the 10 Commandments. Only the high priest was allowed to enter the Holy of Holies, and only once a year, on the Day of Atonement. Extending eastward from the Holy of Holies and separated by a veil was the tabernacle's holy place, which measured 15 feet wide by 30 feet long. The holy place housed the altar of incense, the lampstand, and the table of showbread. Surrounding the Holy of Holies and the holy place was its outer courtyard, which measured 75 feet wide by 150 feet long and was enclosed by a fence. Located inside the outer courtyard and facing the tabernacle's entrance from the east was the altar of burnt offering, where sacrifices of animals were offered to the Lord. A bronze laver or washing basin was positioned between the altar of burnt offerings and the holy place. God made us in his image. He wants us pure and holy, worshiping him and him alone, repenting, asking his forgiveness, and thanking him for all that he has done and continues to do in our lives. Till next time, peace be with you.